So, first and foremost, if anybody's upset that my head is cut off in this video, I am protecting you from my bad hair, okay? You don't want to see just the extent of this. So you're welcome. Also, this is a very important subject. I'm going to talk to you about anxiety. And this is something I have dealt with my entire life that I can remember. I may not have been an anxious person as a child, like itty bitty tiny little baby, but I was definitely an anxious child. I want to say that I can remember at least preteen and up, but it's possible when I was in like elementary school, because there's little things I can remember here and there that may have been anxiety related. Okay, so one thing I wanted to tell you is the common or uncommon symptoms. But when I say uncommon, I mean less commonly associated with anxiety. These are all anxiety symptoms. And if you are experiencing any of these things and you feel like you want and need help, definitely go, nowadays everything's online and stuff, but they have virtual counseling, virtual doctors in general. You can even get your what are those things called, referrals and stuff for. So absolutely get the help that you need if you feel like you need help at all, as a matter of fact, and it's not anxiety related. But these things are not fun in general, and they might be associated with something else, and you're thinking, maybe I have that, maybe I have anxiety, whatever the case is. Go get help if you need help. Okay, so the common anxiety symptoms. Okay, I'm just gonna go with the first one that everybody knows about: panic attacks. If you don't have anxiety and you think that you understand what a panic attack is, I'm just gonna be completely honest. Unless you've had a panic attack, it's really difficult to understand one. It's not just like, oh, I'm panicky or something, or somebody's like crying and they seem panicky. It's so much deeper than that. It's like your world is crashing down on you and you can't breathe, and it's this horrible, it's so intense. But if you've seen somebody have a panic attack, I mean, they deal with anxiety in some capacity. Okay, so getting that one aside. Now, common symptoms that are something that people are dealing with on a day-to-day. Oh, and I'll get actually back to the panic attacks really quickly and say somebody with anxiety can have multiple panic attacks throughout the day on a daily basis, and they can be that way for months, years. I mean, panic attacks are not just like when things get to an extreme and then you're dealing with a panic attack. Sometimes you can go from completely fine to a full-blown panic attack. And sometimes people don't even know you're having a panic attack. For example, with myself, if I'm about to go into a panic attack, I know it's happening. I know some of the things that I can do to get out of it. And I'm faster to get out of it a little bit faster than normal. But the people around me may have little to no idea that I'm even dealing with a panic attack right in that moment, because I've gotten a lot better at hiding them. That does not mean that's a good thing. It just means that, it can happen often. Okay, common ones. Of course, this one is excessive worrying. Yeah, that's pretty, you worry about everything. I mean, everything. Anything and everything that's possible to worry about, and then things that you don't even think is possible to worry about, and you're worried about them. Feeling agitated. I mean, think about it like this. You're afraid to go on a ride, for example, and somebody's like, oh, just go on the ride. Just go on the ride. Wouldn't you get a little agitated? That's kind of how that works. You're dealing with a lot. And then all these other little things in life is happening, and you're just trying to just make it. You're just trying to just live, and you just can't help it. You just feel so agitated about everything. Restlessness. I notice if I drink too much coffee, and then I also am dealing with anxiety, that's my daughter in the background, if you hear her. If I'm also dealing with my anxiety, I just get so restless. I'm just constantly just like, there's days I feel like I'm just walking around and I don't even know what I'm doing. So It can be extreme. Fatigue, because of all that you're doing on a day-to-day basis, mentally, physically, like all of this takes a toll, and your body feels that, and you are dealing with fatigue. And there have definitely been times in my life that I'm dealing with that fatigue, and I notice that fatigue, and I don't know why I'm dealing with it, and then I'm like, wait, I'm an anxious person. I have anxiety. So that's part of this. I'm not just an anxious person. I'm having a hard time today. I'm not just an anxious person. I have anxiety. Difficulty concentrating and irritability for me are like hand in hand. The difficulty concentrating, because you're dealing with a lot of that excessive worrying and even that fatigue, that how can you concentrate on something in particular when you're just not here, and it's not rational here? Because another one actually is irrational fears. You know, when my son was first born, I was dealing with the postpartum depression. I wasn't really thinking about the little things with him, and when I say little things, I mean I wasn't really thinking about all the little things that could go wrong with him, like all the ways that he could get hurt. But the older he started getting, and the more connected I started to finally feel again, these irrational fears started to happen. Some of that's just regular motherhood, but I have, for example, a big irrational fear that has not gone away at all, and that's I'm always worried that my son's going to think I'm abandoning him. If I go to put him to sleep and he's crying for me, I'm worried he's going to think I abandoned him. If I put him in the car and I don't rush to him right away, that I abandoned him. And to be completely honest, I don't know why. It's just there. It's this irrational fear that I have. One thing that a lot of people who know me, and this is a very common symptom of it too, is avoiding social situations. Some people just think I'm a recluse. Some people think that I don't like people. All of these things are true. But the other thing that is also very true is I avoid social situations because of how I'm feeling emotionally. It can be really difficult because when I'm in that social situation, I'm worrying about how people are judging me. I'm thinking everyone is criticizing me in some capacity, and I'm just doing everything wrong. I am embarrassed, and I'm worried that I'm going to embarrass myself, and that I'm never going to stop being able to think about the way that I embarrass myself. So it's really difficult for me to even want to leave my home and be in a social situation with people I know. Sometimes it's okay for me to go to the grocery store, not during pandemic time, but more so with people that I know, and if I see somebody on the street and they judge me, I can get over that. I might think about that situation for the rest of my life, but I can get over it. I can keep living on a day-to-day. If I'm with people that I know, every time I see them, I'm also now thinking of that humiliating moment that I remember, and they don't even remember it, or they didn't know that moment was humiliating for me, or I'm worried that they thought that this was humiliating. And one of the worst things for me is when people will come back and say, do you remember when? And that wasn't even something that I was constantly thinking about. Well, guess what? Thanks, guys. I am now constantly thinking about that, because now I know there was a time I made a fool of myself. Thanks. I really wanted to know that. But that is a common symptom anyways. It's not your fault. I'm dealing with it's a mental issue. And there's nothing wrong with mental issues, because we all have something. Okay, so those are like more of the common ones. Oh, actually, there was another one, tense muscles. I'm usually dealing with a lot of stuff in my shoulders, and I got one of those massagers in the back and stuff, but I was always kind of complaining about it, so my husband goes and gets me like the smaller one, and it was really awesome. And I'm going to be completely honest, anybody who has tension in their back or anywhere in their body, you should get one of those like smaller ones, because you could put it on the different parts of your body a lot better. I'll do a review of that one of these days. Anyways, those are really common ones, and I can account for them obviously if I'm telling you my life story within that. So remember, they are, and I have them written down, that's why you keep seeing me look down: excessive worrying, feeling agitated, restlessness, fatigue, difficulty concentrating, irritability, tense muscles, panic attacks, avoiding social situations, and irrational fears. There's one that I did not mention, and I guess it's probably something that is, it can be common, but I don't feel like it's necessarily common. I was going to say it in more of the uncommon, which is trouble sleeping. It's something that not everybody, it's something that is common to anxiety, but it's not something that people commonly associate with anxiety. So I wanted to say it on that. Which now, getting into the uncommonly known symptoms: jaw pain, and I'll get into the little bits about it afterwards. Jaw pain, scattered thoughts, intrusive thoughts, the sleep problems, overspending, hoarding, impulsivity, being overwhelmed, indecisiveness, and disorganization. Okay, so the jaw pain, the very first one. If you ever found yourself just sitting there, just like clenching your jaw, or you wake up in the morning and your jaw kind of hurts because you may have been grinding your teeth, that could be signs that you have some anxiety issues. The scattered thoughts, sometimes it's difficult for you to collect those thoughts that's going on in your head because you have just so much stuff going on at the same time, which aligns itself with the indecisiveness. Like how are you going to make a decision when you're dealing with all of this? And now somebody's asking you if you want blue or red paint. Like, I don't know. I don't know. It's too much on your shoulders. There's the crisis of life, and the impending doom of life is on your shoulders all the time. And someone's asking you blue or red paint. Again, that's just anxiety. I laugh, but I laugh now. You know, it took me a long time to get to a point that I'm not taking every little thing as seriously. I understand and I know what's happening when it's happening, but that's where I am. Anybody else who's dealing with this on a day-to-day basis and doesn't have those tools to get through, absolutely talk to someone. There's books you can read. There's so much stuff and so much help out there for you. Okay, but to get into another one, my husband knows if I buy shoes, something's up, because my anxiety took over and I bought the shoes. If I have money or not, I buy the shoes. So if a bunch of shoes keep coming to my house, he usually goes, "What's wrong?" And that's because of my anxiety. So if you find that you are impulsively overspending, and I know I'm bringing these things together, but because these things can be put together, they are things that are happening all at the same time and people are dealing with. So take a moment, look at yourself. Are you going through these things? You feeling a little anxious? You might want to get some help. Or again, self-help books and things like that. You know, from a small self-help book about anxiety in particular, and I already knew I was dealing with it. I was already diagnosed and all that. It taught me how to handle a panic attack while it was occurring. And I can't tell you how amazing that has been. I've been in the middle of meetings in front of people having panic attacks, and I know they had no idea what I was going through. And because I took the time to go out there and get the help that I needed, here I am today, still dealing with plenty of mental health issues, but dealing with them, and I am a happier person because of it. You don't get cured from these things, but you can at least live a happy life knowing you have these things, and it's perfectly fine to have these things. It doesn't make you less than of a person. It just means that you're normal. You know, and at this point in my life too, I have to say, if I look around and people are like, "I don't have any mental health issues," yeah, you do. And also, if you don't, you're kind of weird, because not everybody, but most people have something. I mean, nobody's perfect. You know what that makes you? Human. That's what it makes you. And it makes you awesome because you are human, and if you're getting the help you need, means that you are trying to be stable and happy and loving. And again, I'm not actually trying to go against anybody who doesn't have any mental health. It's just, I don't want anybody who does to think that something is wrong with them. They're not. They're fine. You're fine. You're okay. And you're allowed to be not perfect. Oh, and you know what else is it's not a commonly known symptom, and it's not even on my list, and I know it is. It's what I was doing. Random talk behavior. If you just over talk like that, that can be a sign as well of it. So if you hate my videos, that's why you can't hate them anymore. Okay, anyways, until next time, can't wait to talk to y'all soon. Forgot to say really quickly, if you want to read any more of my content or see any more of my videos, I can be found on pretty much all social media, and you can go to gbrlife.com or gbrlife.com. It stands for My Good, Bad, Real Life, and it has plenty of content. The actual website, I am updating it on a day-to-day basis with content, so you'll have plenty of articles to read. And if you want to watch any more videos, you can always subscribe, so subscribe. That would be amazing. I'd love to see more of you, talk to more of you. And if you ever want to get in contact with me directly, you can always email me at Caitlin, Caitlin at gbrlife.com. And again, my website is gbrlife.com. Can I say it one more time? gbrlife.com. I'd love to see you all there.